Naoya Inoue defeats Ramon Cardenas via 8th round TKO after getting dropped in the second round. That needs to, get into people's heads now, though, because he's been dropped by the same shot twice. But I still do believe that Naoya Inoue has the best boxing IQ in boxing by a good mile, to be honest with you. But he could be in trouble against MJ Akhmadaliev. MJ has got a style that could cause nightmares for Inoue. Styles make fights. And yeah, look, MJ's timing is very, very, very good. Could he drop Inoue? But look, this fight is basically being confirmed. Eddie Hearn confirmed it during the week, saying MJ's ready, date confirmed. Be ready, Inoue. Inoue got the job done tonight against Ramon Cardenas. And yeah, after the fight then said MJ next in September. So this is going to happen. And it's a massive, massive fight. People saying Inoue is going to walk through him don't know what they're talking about, because MJ is going to be very difficult. People saying Inoue is going to walk through MJ. Don't say that, because he's not going to. He could very well lose that fight to MJ Akhmadaliev, if I'm being honest. MJ is a nightmare for anyone. He was, just because he lost a close decision to Tapales. Styles make fights at the end of the day, and MJ is a very smart boxer who has got a very difficult style for Inoue. MJ has power. He's got timing. He's very good defensively. He's got better boxing IQ than Cardenas. This is going to be Inoue's toughest test to date. By a country mile, it will be. Cardenas was very difficult for Inoue in there. It was one of Inoue's best fights of his career so far, but that's because it was one of his most difficult fights of his career so far. Inoue was getting hit flush by Cardenas, but after he got dropped, though, Cardenas lit a fire under Inoue after Inoue got dropped. Honestly, Inoue came out literally trying to end up destroying Cardenas. And, we're still getting tagged quite a bit, though. And Cardenas set up his moments well and is pretty explosive. But MJ times his moments much better. MJ's counters are much better than Cardenas. MJ's going to have, more things for Inoue to worry about coming back. MJ's going to, keep things, mixing up, in my opinion, as well. Cardenas is more of the same guy and eventually got too predictable for Naoya Inoue in that fight. Then Inoue was able to eventually get more and more success with his counters and get more success with his right hand and get offloading with more and different variety shots. Inoue was with his volume, which ended up just beating down Cardenas from round 6 onwards, basically, where he was fully in his rhythm. But Inoue was comfortable in there. He was good behind the jab, but MJ's less basic than Cardenas. Cardenas is pretty explosive and he hits hard. Other than that, he hasn't really got anything on MJ technically wise. That's the thing. Technical wise, he hasn't really got much on MJ Cardenas. And, Inoue, I think he could be meeting a good match in MJ. This could be his match, or it could be Inoue's own monster, possibly. I've always stood by that this is a very competitive fight and a very good fight, and MJ will 100% be able to cause Inoue problems. Inoue is going to be the favorite, of course, but you can't ever write off MJ. This is going to be a difficult fight. MJ's counters are good. His time is good. He's got power. He's got attributes that you need to beat Inoue, and MJ's going to be watching that thinking, MJ's pretty relentless. MJ's pretty relentless. He's a fighter that can back Inoue up. That's the thing. MJ can back Inoue up and put him on the back foot. We haven't seen that lows in Inoue's career. We saw it a little bit tonight where Cardenas was the one wanting to take the bit more of the initiative, but it's difficult to do that against Inoue because Inoue's just so ridiculously good. Even when, Inoue got dropped, 4th round, he was right back in Cardenas' face. You can't really put him on the back foot. There was once in one of the rounds where Cardenas was able to get him up against the ropes, but Inoue's just able to stay calm. That's the thing. But because, eventually he knew that Cardenas, what he was going to do. And Inoue is very good at being able to read you. I think MJ is a really difficult guy to figure out and be able to read. That's the thing. He's going to be very difficult to read, or at least it's going to take Inoue much longer to be able to read MJ than how long it took him to be able to read Ramon Cardenas. That's the thing. So Inoue could be in trouble. Obviously, I do think MJ could argue he does hit harder than Cardenas. He's dropped higher level guys than what Cardenas has, but other than Inoue. But I do think from what we've seen, MJ is a harder hitter than Cardenas. MJ is quicker than Cardenas. Cardenas is a strong guy though, and has got other attributes that MJ doesn't. But it's smart fighter versus smart fighter with Inoue versus MJ. And, you'd expect Inoue to beat another smart fighter 9 times out of 10. But with MJ, I feel like it's a different kind of fight. I'm not saying MJ wins. I'm saying that this means that on paper, this is going to be a very difficult fight if people fully look into this one. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Inoue and MJ. And I feel like that fight with Cardenas just has made the fight 10 times more interesting than what it already was. And I think the fight was already very intriguing and very interesting, to be completely honest. So, let's wait and see. MJ's got variety in his shots. MJ mixes it up. He's not predictable. He's not the same. He's pretty relentless when he's coming, but he's so smart with what he does, though. And Inoue's the smartest fighter in boxing right now. It's going to be interesting to see the kind of game plan that MJ wants to fight and use against Inoue. That's going to be interesting. But him and his team, I reckon they will come up with something interesting, to be fair. But this is going to be a big fight, Inoue versus MJ Akhmadaliev. I can't wait. Anyway, let's see what happens. What do you guys think happens? Anyway, thanks for watching.